Hey there. So, are you letting your wife define who you are? And this is a really tough question because a lot of people let their spouses define who they are. Now, the truth of the matter is, your wife does have a perspective of you. But the question is it the truth? And it may be partially the truth, but she comes to your relationship with preconceived ideas about what a husband is supposed to be, about what she wants in her life, and she even this is actually impacted by things that her past has shown us, her past um, relationships, everything that she knows about men, what she's learning from her friends, all kinds of things will help define what she thinks of you. And a lot of men who buy into the happy wife, happy life idea actually give their wives much more power over who they are. And I'm not recommending that you fight with her. And I'm actually also recommending that you stop and think about what her viewpoint is, because you want her to have a positive viewpoint of you. Um, but but why she doesn't isn't necessarily all about you. Um, One of the things that a lot of men have told me, a lot of my clients have told me, and that I've actually gotten into some discussions with other women on social media, is that, they're treated like children, that men have their wives treat them like they're incompetent. And I was actually guilty a little bit of this myself once upon a time when people would ask me when my husband and I were going to have children. And I jokingly said, "You mean another one?" And, a lot of people have that view of men, and it's wrong because my husband has never acted like a child. He is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. He has never expected me to do things like make his lunch. Are. And so this idea that they're incompetent or that they're child or that they're children is really rather disgusting. And if that's, and if your wife has that view of you, a big question is to ask why. Um, and if you actually do make promises that you don't keep, that actually is on you. But if she has expectations of you that either one, you don't know about, or two, you haven't actually agreed to, then then you're not responsible. That's her issue around this. But in this idea that we give women all kinds of power over defining who you are, defining what you're capable of, um, when you do things and the only thing that's acknowledged is like you have a list of 10 things to do and you miss one, and instead of getting credit for the 9 you did, all you hear about is the one you didn't. That's your and you take that to heart. That's your wife defining you, right? We get to define ourselves. You get to define yourself. Now, again, like I said, how she sees you matters. And you want to be seen in the best possible light. And so, are you doing things to be seen that way? And and so my viewpoint is that couples should say yes to each other as often as they can. So if there is a reasonable request that is being made and it fits with who you are, who you want to be as a person, then go ahead and do it. But if it doesn't fit, if there's an expectation that she has of you that you have no desire to follow, then it's okay to say no. One of my sisters, before she got married, had this image of the man she was going to marry. He was going to be like this financial advisor, and he'd wear this three-piece suit, and he would do all these things. And she's been married for almost 40 years, and her husband doesn't even own a suit. And he, by the way, he never has. So, this is she had this expectation, right? And luckily she was smart enough to accept the person and not the clothes he was wearing. But this is, your wife has these ideas that may fit you and may not fit you. And so I just recently heard about a book, should have known about it before, by an author named Wayne Levine, who talks, the title of the book is To Hold On to Your Nuts, NUTS. And what that stands for is non negotiable, unalterable terms. And that's you're defining yourself, the things that matter to you, the way that you want to be in the world. Now, I'm a big proponent of being your best self. And to me, that's what one of the things that marriage does is that it actually gives us the opportunity to step up and be better. But that doesn't mean there wasn't necessarily anything wrong with who we were before. And by the way, your partner picked you, right? And so there must have been something that she found attractive about you. And this idea that there is somehow she gets to define who you are and how you show up in the world is a non-starter for me. And so if you identify your non-negotiable, unalterable terms and you hold to them, you're going to feel better about yourself. Your relationship is going to be better. And here's the secret, guys, she will respect you. So if you want to learn more about this, if you want to know how to do this, then I recommend or I invite you to get in contact with me either through a comment down below, a direct message, or you can reach me by email at Leslie, Lesli, at foundationscoachingnc.com. That's FOUNDATIONS, coaching, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.com. Because here's the thing. This is a line from one of my all-time favorite movies called Buckaroo Banzai in the eighth dimension, I think. And it's like, wherever you go, there you are. You have to live with yourself, right? So you need to be defining yourself, not letting anybody else do it. So hopefully you found this helpful. And until next week, stay loving.